Pastors Grace Community Church in Red Hill. So, Dr. Victoria, if we can welcome you, Wired for Wonder. Is that right?
Hi, can you hear me? Hi. It's so wonderful to be here. I'm just going to put this on here. I hope I have my slides. So I've put some papers in the middle of the table. Before we start, a bit like what Mary did, I want you to write 3 attributes about your body that you like about yourself. Now, when you look at the paper, it's a sticker. So you take a sticker because we're going to stick it on ourselves. And 3 attributes about your body that you like about yourself. So I'm going to tell you about me as we're doing that. So I have one dimple here, just here. I don't know why I have just one dimple. I always wanted more than one dimple, but I like the dimple about me. I have a big nose. So my mom, when I was growing up, she used to say, why did you not take my nose? You took your father's nose. Your father has a huge nose, and you took his nose. Why could you not have taken my nose? And I wonder, how is it that I could choose whose nose I have, right? So I've embraced that, and I love my nose. I was recently watching the Michael Jackson movie. I don't know if any of you have seen it. And the dad commented about his nose. And it became a thing for him, actually. So much so that he got a nose job done. So it's really important, the things that we say to our children, because it does impact. But I love my nose. So the third thing is my height. Oh, my goodness. My whole life, they said, why are you so short? Even, I think most 11-year-olds in our church are taller than me, right? And that used to be a thing about being short. A bit like what Mary said, that you have to shrink, and you felt that being the short person in the room was such a deficiency. Number 1, there's nothing I can do about my height. Number 2, I can wear as many heels as I like, but still I am exactly who I am. So I've chosen to embrace that and say that I'm short but mighty. So certainly you can use certain attributes of your life that people have told you all your whole life that it's a negative thing, and turn it around. So yesterday, I'll tell you my background. So I am a GP by profession. Been a GP for about 18 years. The next question is, oh, you look so young. A lot of the people I treat, I work in Tunbridge Wells. So there's not many people of color in Tunbridge Wells. And when I first got to the practice, it's a village. I was telling somebody about Pembury. Pembury is very, very English, classic village. And before me, they had 3 white male doctors for 30 years. And then I got there. Dr. Minkah. Ooh, she looks young. She's black. She's female. And she's short. And, at that point, you could feel intimidated by your patients and people who come in and say, oh, no, you're not meant to be in that space. Or you could turn it around and educate and empower. And I love this whole conference. That is what it's all about, the extraordinary you, discovering what makes you unique, what makes you special, and what makes you the one-of-a-kind addition. I want to thank Mary so much for inviting me to speak here today, and the lovely Regal Ladies team. They're amazing because I sent my presentation very late, but they were so accommodating. So thank you, everyone, for having me. Can we go to the next slide, please? So I wear different hats. Yesterday, I was in Heathrow Airport. So I have a private GP service called Restored Healthcare, where we go to different organizations doing health screening for them. I have a bus which goes to different areas, and we had this contract with Heathrow, and they've been changing the dates all along, and somehow it managed to match this week. So I was in Heathrow yesterday, and we were doing health screening for some of their employees there. And again, as always, you don't look the part. And my team are all quite, they're African or Indian or different ethnicities. So we were going through, we have airside and landside. I've learned so much about Heathrow in this last week. So in landside, you can do whatever you want. But when you go airside, you have to go through the security, a bit like when you're traveling. And we went through airside, and they took away my perfume. And I was so upset. I'm like, no, don't take my lovely perfume, because it was more than 100 mils. Apparently, this is what they go through the whole time. And so I had finished what I was doing airside, came back to landside to check, and we had to take some of the samples across to airside again. And this is blood samples, because we're doing blood testing for people. And the man stops me and says, no, you can't take blood. And normally I'm a very calm person. And in that moment where he was trying to take my samples away, I just manifested like an African woman. What are you talking about? You cannot take my blood. And everybody just stopped, looked at me like, who is this woman? I think all of us have a lioness in us. When we're pushed hard enough, we find that lioness. The whole security station stopped because I was really ready to manifest that they were taking my blood sample. First, they took my perfume. That's okay. But now, my samples. The man said, it's okay. You can go through. How many does that resonate to you? So for so often, we're just always trying to be whoever they think we should be, right? We're always trying to fit the mold, as Mary says. But today I want to talk about the medical things that makes us a wonder. So let me hear some things that you wrote on your bit of paper. Is anybody going to volunteer? What did you write on your paper? What do you like about yourself? Not what you don't like, what people have said about you. What do you like? Anybody going to say? Shan? Yes. She said she's eccentric, and she loves that about her, because Sean, that is what's special and unique about you. Yes. Somebody else? I heard something here. Yes, ma'am. The shape of your face.
Oh,
The shape of your face. What do you like about the shape of your face?
because I can pull any hairstyle with the shape of my face, yeah.
Wonderful. So that's why it's a sticker. I want you to put it here. I like this about me. That's what makes you special. The shape of your face. Yes, ma'am.
My natural hair.
Her natural. Oh, yeah, you do have amazing hair. I'm jealous. Is that all yours? Wow, that is amazing. Please write it with pride on your badge. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am. Your eyes. What's special about your eyes?
Yes, because I'm tall enough. I don't need heels. I don't need to wear heels.
Oh, her height. Oh, yes.
Height, yes.
Your height. Yes. I spent my whole life wishing to be high, but now I have embraced it. Wonderful. Anything else? Come on, ladies. Don't be shy. Yes, ma'am. Your voice.
Oh, oh, I love my voice because I've got a unique voice. When I'm somewhere and I'm talking, my friends will say, we know you are the one there.
Oh, I love your voice too. Do you sing? Oh, it's wonderful. Write it with pride. This is what is unique about you. I'm a pastor's wife, and when obviously I didn't plan to be a pastor's wife. I always just wanted to be a doctor. I never wanted to be anything else but a doctor in my life. And I married my husband, who says, oh, I have a calling, so I want to start a church. I'm like, oh my gosh, that means I'm going to be a pastor's wife. I don't sing. When I look at pastors' wives, they all seem so elegant. They all wear hats and they seem to glide, and they have a massive Bible. Have you seen the proper pastor's wife? proper ones. They have a massive, beautiful Bible. They have a nice handbag. And they walk with, the Proverbs 31 woman kind of walk. Vicky is me. Because I'm a medic, I walk very fast. Wherever I'm going, I'm like in a hurry, like have to get somewhere. I don't sing. I'm like, how am I even going to be a pastor's wife? But I decided I'm just going to be me, the pastor's wife. So I may not be like any other pastor's wife and may not glide, but God makes it possible to be the best me that I can be. And, I enjoy being a pastor's wife. I enjoy leading the women with purpose. And I enjoy showing them that it doesn't matter. You don't have to glide. You don't have to wear hats. You just have to be your authentic self. So we're going to get into the medical side of we are being wired as a wonder. The reason that I got us to just talk about the things we like about ourselves is for so often women always say things they don't like about themselves, their body, their tummy, their hips, and all that things. And there's always so much that we want to change about our body. And Mary said something, there is a greater being. We believe in God who created us, who knitted us and made us so unique. And who are we that we're trying to change it so that we fit an image that has been created by some human being? And at the end of today, I pray that we all embrace who we are and just enjoy the body that we've been given, because the body that we've been given is an amazing engine that we should, rather than trying to fix all the time. Yes, I talk about exercise, I talk about eating well. Rather than trying to always fix, that we enjoy this wonderful body that we've been given. So today I'm going to talk, next slide please. So there's a verse in the Bible. It says, I praise you because I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. And, men always talk about the fearfully part, right? And I think yesterday at the security thing, the fearfully was coming out of me right there. The wonderfully was kind of gone, and the fearfully was coming out. And I always look at that verse. It says, fearfully and wonderfully made. There's no accidents. There's no mistakes about us, and there has to be a fearful part, right? Because that's the thing that makes us move. That's what's made you come this morning to this talk rather than be somewhere else, because we want to grow in our purpose and what we have been made to be. Next slide, please. So I'm going to talk about our brain, the female brain. The female brain is such an intricate part of the body. So we're going to talk about the brain, the heart. We're going to talk about hormones, where they say, oh, you're too emotional. The women, they have too many hormones, right? And it's always looked into as a deficiency. Even we accept it as a deficiency, right? We're like, oh, my hormones, they're making me crazy. Perhaps they're not making you crazy. They're making you uniquely you. And they're adding to who you were created to be. We're going to talk about the brain. Next slide. A few, oh gosh, mine is going the wrong way. We have a lot of neurons. So we're talking about numbers and things like that. So in our brain are neurons. So they are nerves that transmit information through our brain. And we have billions of neurons that transmit information throughout. So as you're sitting here, you're processing all the information you're watching. Your body is just naturally doing it. You're not having to think about it. Your brain is processing all this information, and the information is being transmitted by something called synapses. So sometimes if we take medication or something happens, it can affect the travel of those neurons and the information. Next slide, please. And sometimes when people have strokes or injury to the brain, it can affect the neurons and it can affect the way we transmit information. But it's always so amazing to me because I see a stroke patient in the right after a stroke. So a stroke is a bleed or clot in the head, right? And then over time, you see something called neuroplasticity, which means the neurons is adapting, changing. So the part of your body that affects speech that's gone, it changes itself. It unwinds itself in a specific way. And it's always so interesting because you see somebody who can't talk very well and then they start learning again. So the brain has the capacity to relearn. I don't know if you've watched online, there's people who've had brain injuries, and there's a couple that I've been watching online. It's very poignant. I think the woman had some sort of accident, and the husband has been documenting their journey, and it's so poignant to see. She used to sing. She was like a worshiper in church, and then she had this injury, and she couldn't talk. She couldn't do anything. And when you look at her now, she's starting to talk. She's starting to do things, and that is something that God has allowed us to be able to do. For women, we use both sides of our brain, the left and the right side. You remember the multitasking. So as some of you are sitting here today, you're thinking, what am I cooking for dinner? Where are we going tomorrow for church? What am I going to wear? Who can relate? As you sit in one place, your mind is doing so many things at the same time, right? And that is a gift that women have. We have the ability to sit here and to plan dinner, to plan the holiday, to plan, oh, Johnny needs to go on a school trip. I need to hand in that form, or I need to go and visit my son at university. And all this is happening and being processed. We tend to have a bigger limbic system. So this is a system in our brain which shows empathy. So a woman will tend to be like, oh, I feel for you. Oh, honey, you don't look so well today. You know, we have that ability to empathize with each other. So in the last week, I've been working mostly with men, and you can see the difference, right? No offense to our men in the house. You know, that empathy does not come naturally to men as women. It's something that God has wired us to be. And that's probably a nurturing thing. That's why we are the mothers, right? We can see the child. We see children in a different way. We empathize with how they're feeling. Mary was talking about his son saying, I don't want to do architecture anymore. She could empathize with his plight because that's how she was created to be. The last thing is about our speaking. My husband always said, oh my gosh, Vicky, you talk too much, talk too much, talk too much. You know, my husband will go to a place and I'll say, what happened? Who did you see? Oh yes, it was good. Everything was fine. Oh, is that it? Is that all the like who can you know, he doesn't give details. Who did you see? What happened? What did they wear? What did they say? How did they come? You know, we want details. Women like detail. And they say, you talk too much. Vicky, I told you it was fine. I'm like, no, I need to know the details. So we live through the experiences. There's something called the Wernicke Center in our brain and the Broca Center. These are our speech centers. So traditionally, women would tend to talk more than men. So when you go home today, you say, it's not my fault. It's how God made my brain, please. Do not put me down. That was how I was created. See, when we understand how we're wired, we can appreciate these attributes rather than shut it down like, oh, you talk too much. And then you start feeling bad. So you start trying to be quiet and not talk. But say, no, that's how I was created. My Wernicke, learn the word. My Wernicke and Broca Center is bigger than yours. So I'm supposed to talk too much. I'm supposed to talk too much. We have, next slide, please, emotional memory, yes? When you listen to a song, sometimes it brings the same kind of feelings. Who has had that experience? Certain songs will trigger certain emotions. And that is a unique thing that we've been created. And obviously, because we have hormones, see, it's not only about estrogen. There's something called serotonin, our happy hormone. So it works all together. And once we understand the hormones, we can work it rather than work against it and say, okay, this triggers a happy feeling. So you put that music on, or you move around, do that exercise so that you can enjoy your life. I think a lot of us put so much on our lives that we don't really enjoy the body that we have. We're always trying to get to a certain kind of shape, figure, rather than enjoying what we have. Yeah, we remember. We remember what they did to us because our hippocampus is bigger. So we have a memory bank. So when you go home now, you have a lot of evidence. You're like, I remember because my hippocampus is bigger. So that is what makes us wired differently. Next slide, please. We're going to talk about our hearts. Today's talk is not about cholesterol and all the other things that I usually talk about as a GP. It's just about understanding what makes us unique and what wires us. Next slide, please. Sorry, I'm trying to get mine here. Our hearts beat faster. Sometimes you feel it, right? And we have emotions that's attached to our heart. So we notice that our heart rate goes faster due to estrogen. We have quite high estrogen levels when we're young and low estrogen, and that affects our heart rates. So traditionally, when we say to men, heart attack is chest pain, we have noticed that women's hearts function different, and what may be a heart attack for a woman is very different. Unfortunately, medicine has traditionally always been a men environment, so things that we learn and things that we know about is often directed to men rather than women. Thankfully, we're getting more educated and aware and informed so that we know that when a woman is having a heart attack, how they present is different. Often it presents as heartburn, often it presents like shortness of breath, or often it presents like chest pain, back pain. So I had a woman once who had upper back pain radiating to the front. That's very different. And that's how her heart attack was presenting. So it's so important that you understand your heart, your whole body, so that you know, no, this is wrong. And often when you go to the doctor, they're like, no, you're just being anxious, you have anxiety. Please don't let anybody fob you off, because you do know your body. Yeah, you do. And if something is feeling abnormal, even if it doesn't match our textbooks, it's real. It's real to you. There's a lot of push now in the government about women's health, because for so long women were just told, you're anxious, you're being over zealous, you're too much. But they're understanding that women react to things slightly different to men. Next slide, please. Yeah. Hormones. Uniquely and fearfully made. It's like hormones is a bad thing. It's like, oh, women are so emotional. Have you heard that before? You're just being emotional. Sometimes people even say, take your emotions out of it. It's true, emotions can make us irrational sometimes. But hormones are good things. They are who we are. We can't change that. And over the years, we've been made to feel that when we are hormonal, it's a terrible thing. No, it's understanding the hormones, what is happening, what the cycle means. That's important. Get education about your cycle. Understand that, okay, at this point, I get a little bit irrational. What I need to do is maybe exercise or put on some music that makes me feel well. Once we know our cycles, we can work with our body better. We have estrogen, progesterone, and oxytocin. So oxytocin, often people hear about it in childbirth, but oxytocin is a natural hormone that helps us feel happy. So most women would want to be touched more by their partners. Yes, because that releases oxytocin, or hugs. When women meet, they're always hugging each other. It's a need, because when you hug each other or you get that response, it makes you feel good, right? I love hugging. I hug everybody at church, and sometimes they look at me like, yeah, that pastor's wife thing again. She's still working on it. She's still working on it. I hug almost everybody and the kids and everything. Probably I have that need for oxytocin release. So once you know that, oh, okay, I'm feeling low, let me hug, let me touch, that will help my hormones feel better, then you'll be okay. Progesterone calms the nervous system and supports sleep, nurtures pregnancy, and balances estrogen. So we've all heard about estrogen, right? HRT, depending on what kind of phase in your life you are. There are certain foods that helps with our hormone release and helps balance it better. Often when we're feeling overwhelmed, it's because the balance is off. It's because maybe we're facing a stressful environment or we're just not in the right environment. So understanding that, okay, I'm a bit imbalanced and I need a bit more oxytocin or progesterone, then it will help us understand our hormones rather than thinking hormones are bad because we're all hormonal women. We are amazing. As Mary said, there's never going to be any one of you like you again because you have a unique DNA. We have a unique blueprint. We carry life in our bodies and only us know what that feels like. You know, when you have back pain and you have all sorts of things happening. We have a lot of different things. A lot of women I meet can be doctors, can be nurses, can be lawyers, can be everything. We have the capacity to diversify ourselves. You know, our skin is different. You know, the way we see things is different. Our view of life is different. And often they say, no, you have to start thinking like a man, looking like a man to be in certain spaces. You know, as a female who was I trained almost 20 years ago, we had a lot more, very little ethnic minority groups. There were 5 black people when I trained. I trained in Southampton. We were a cohort of 225 black females. And the rest was definitely male. So often when you're being taught in that kind of environment, it's not a progressive environment, right? It's just a way of adapting and shutting down your hormones. You don't talk about your periods. You don't talk about your cramps. You don't talk about bleeding. You don't talk about anything that can embarrass people. But it's important to understand that that is still part of who you are wired to be. It's part of who God created you to be. So understanding that I think slightly different to a male, it's a good thing. You know, my husband thinks very differently to me. And I think the two of us together, we work beautifully. And that's a good thing rather than pushing down your vision and your thoughts or trying to adapt yourself to fit a particular environment, like me trying to be a good pastor's wife because of how my image of pastor's wife is, who sit at home and maybe bake cookies. I was telling somebody that obviously I'm very busy. I work as a GP and we have 3 children, and often there's a bakery sale or something about bringing cake, and I'm one of these mothers who would dash to Tesco, buy cake, put it in nothing. Okay, take it in. You know, and my son would say, oh, but Johnny's mommy had, blueberry baked cake and all this. You're like, oh God, one day I'll be like Johnny's mommy. But he now understands that, no, I cannot be like Johnny's mommy because I'm Dr. Vicky and I do something different to Johnny's mommy. Understanding that the way we see and react to things is okay. And I do think when we compare ourselves to people who seem to have it all together, who perhaps they don't have the amazing marriage that you think they do, or who seem to be gliding or looking so virtuous, then we lose the capability of the beauty of who we are. Yes, I'm not Johnny's mommy, but I do remarkable things, and you all do remarkable things, and you have remarkable visions. And embracing, maybe somebody has more hormonal imbalance than somebody else, but that's who you are. And learning how to manage your body so that it works for you is truly the gift of celebrating the extraordinary you. Just gonna finish on next slide. So we're talking about the monthly cycle, and then yes, so we work, a lot of gut. You see, women tend to have IBS a bit more because our microbes, so the bugs in our guts, is slightly different because of our diet, because of stress, because of how we were built. And stress affects us a lot. If there's one thing that I think is a silent killer amongst women, is stress. That carer, the woman who's caring for that sick husband, tends to die because she's so busy caring about this husband that she forgets to look after herself. It's one thing that I want to encourage you to really look after your bodies. It's the one thing that we have, and look at ways of reducing our stress, increasing those hormones I talked about, increasing them, not decreasing. When they say stop being hormonal, say no, I'm going to increase my hormones so that I can feel better about myself. I'm going to impact, be a better me. So we need more oxytocin. Oxytocin will reduce the stress. Sleep. A lot of women are not sleeping because they're very stressed or they're hormonal. So let's see how we can balance it better. Rest is important. It is definitely important to rest more. Next slide, please. Next slide. Yeah, next slide. So I'm just about to end so we can get some questions. Move your body. We have Miss Yoyin in the house. She's amazing. She looks amazing. And her program is, I would definitely recommend it. She'll tell you more about herself when she comes up. But definitely movement increases the happy hormones. Nourish your body. Eat nice food. Eat nice food. I'm going to say it again. Eat nice food. We're always saving for somebody else. Eat nice food for you. I grew up in a Ghanaian community where you have to serve the man first, and then later you serve yourself the crumbs, the after bits. But no, I'm learning that it's good to nourish your body with the good things as well, okay? Nourish your body. Feed your mind with supplements, with books, with life teaching as Mary does. Feed your brain, because then those neurons will develop and the neuroplasticity will get better. Prioritize sleep. Who's sleeping well or not sleeping well? Are you sleeping well? Yay! Because sleep is one of those things. Two major things I see women about. We call it TATT. Tired all the time. It's actually a diagnosis. TATT. They learn to shorten it. Tired all the time. So find out why you're tired all the time and try and fix it. Prayer, meditation, vitamins, whatever you need. Know your body. Know your body. Yeah? It's not about dampen your body down. Understand your cycles. Okay, at this time of the month, I get a bit grumpy. Okay, let me see what I can do to help manage that. Trust your design. As Mary said, we're a piece of a puzzle, part of something else. You were created like you. You're not created like anybody else. You. Even if you're so-called emotional, that's how God created you. So it means that emotional thing in you is meant to do something else for somebody else or to connect in another way. So use those things that they've taught you as a negative, like me and my height and my big nose, which I love, to be a positive thing. Turn around those negative things. They say, oh, you're too much. Emotions. Turn it around. Use those emotions for positivity. I end with this. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. Nobody is a mistake. Nobody has issues. You were created. Somebody, God, took time to create that nose, to create that lips, to create that beautiful body that he gave you. Don't let people tell you otherwise. Carry your body with pride. Yes, I have still my baby bump, and the baby is now 10. I'm like, oh, I need to get rid of it. Yes, this was my thing that I always trying to hide. Don't hide it. Pride. We are work in progress. Fine, baby bump is not gone yet, but there's still so much about you that's so awesome, that's so beautiful that I don't have. You have something that I don't have. I have something you don't have. And together we can support each other rather than always trying to hide it and pretend that it doesn't exist. If there's one thing I want to leave you with, is indeed we are fearfully and wonderfully made. Walk with pride. Enjoy your body, because that's what we were given. And, create environments that will make you thrive rather than shrink. Thank you.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Dr. Victoria. We will have questions and answers at the end, if that's okay.
Perfect.
So if you have got any questions, please write them down for that session. Okay. So that was really encouraging. I know a lot of us women, we struggle with our body image. I know I definitely do. And I can definitely relate to the point around stress and the way it screws your body up if you don't get your stress under control. So it's definitely, so thank you, Dr. Victoria. I think one thing I'd like to just pull out from that, if that's okay, is that hugs release oxytocin. I would encourage us to hug each. If you're not a hugger, I really appreciate that, so we don't force that on anybody. But if you are a hugger, please hug people, particularly if you are a singleton and you don't have the guarantee of a hug. Okay? I think that's really important. Okay, us singletons, we're not guaranteed a hug. So if you know somebody who's single, take that away with you as a must do. Okay, as we break, I'm loving this, hugging everybody. We've got the break now, so you can continue the hugs. Right, so just a couple of things. We've got a 15-minute break. Obviously, it's through the double doors to the right. The toilets are just on the left. Tea, coffee, and some pastries and that sort of thing. Okay, if I can ask you just to remind you, if you don't mind leaving eating and drinking out there, only water in here. There is a photo opportunity. There is a backdrop that's been specially created for our event today, so feel free to take your selfies and your photos. And the media team, Fred and his team, will be taking videos. So if you are asked just to share of what you've found helpful so far today, then that would be a great help. Okay, thank you. All right, ladies, we'll see you back in 15 minutes.